Oh, man, he took out both Mahogany and Serenity this fight.
These things are tough.
Pretty impressive.
The snake arms are quite a bit tougher.
I'm still living down 30 hits from that other saving throw.
It's true.
I mean, this snake arm, he looks like he's kind of on his last legs here. You guys have kind of got him beaten and bloodied now. So he puts everything he has into bringing Serenity to the ground. And after she drops, after her grip on her maul loosens and it clatters to the floor, you see his arm that he's got around her chest continues to constrict and choke the life out of her.
This is one BTR.
Let's see if the NPC can save the day, because apparently none of you guys are going to do it.
Hey, I did a pretty good job last turn.
Wait, whose turn is it?
Full apart.
You're right, it's Riot's turn. I'm sorry, I misread the turn order. I looked at it said Serenity, but it actually says D-Serenity.
Get that Thula party person out of there.
Boop. Yeah, Riot, go ahead.
Let's see if I can get it. See if I can get a produce flame off here. I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh no, I didn't. I was counting the wrong one. Nope, I didn't.
And Mount Celestia eats your fire.
Yeah, let's see if I can get a word off here.
That's more important.
Nope, I'm just not casting spells today. Cool.
You see now why Zilvir doesn't want to cast any. Is Riot staying put or moving?
Riot is going to move back behind the meat shield wall.
Kelian's the meat shield now? That's sad.
Kelian's the meat shield?
When Riot has 10 hit points, everybody's a meat shield.
Serenity, make a death save.
Gonna use my inspiration die.
Okay.
It's Kelian.
You can make your inspiration die afterwards. Well, you
probably should have needed to anyway.
Good thing you used that. Wait, that brings you up to 10, though.
Yeah, that's a save. Death, right?
I need
Yeah,
11 or
it's a
better.
DC 10 save.
It's a 50-50. Is it a DC 10?
Yeah,
I
pretty
thought it
sure
was
it's
a
DC
DC
10.
10.
Okay. Yeah, that's a save then. It's going to bring us
I'll look-
I can
to...
look it up to make sure.
I don't want to get it wrong, so I'll look it up.
I mean, we can keep going. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Retroactively.
Ariella missed twice against this thing. Oh, wait, no, she didn't roll her d4s. I might be able to salvage one hit out of that.
On a
I
roll
do.
of 10 or higher, you succeed.
So it's a DC 10. Gotcha. Not quite a 50-50. $21 damage as she smites this thing.
Oh, I didn't know this, though. One is 2 failures.
Yeah, if you botch that death save, you rack up 2 failures. And she's aiming her blows at the arm that's constricting around Serenity, trying to sever it, but just does not quite manage to do it. Banyan comes charging into the room. Barks at the newcomer. He's going to show you how it's done.
Who is Banyan?
Banyan's their ranger.
Got it.
He's coming in with a short bow. And he's got Bless. And that's 2 hits. And that's enough to finally kill this last monster. NPC got the kill, guys.
Oh, I was going to Thorn whip it off of Serenity. Disappointing.
Spanian steps into the room in front of Kelian, looses 2 arrows. And the thing finally breathes its last. And the arm wrapped around Serenity slackens. What's next?
Medicine
I'm
check
gonna
to get
take account
Serenity
of our-
stabilized.
Yeah, I'm going to give him... No, forget that. I'm going to give her a good berry.
Okay.
Or that.
That rejuvenates Serenity to...
2. No, it's Celestia.
Right.
Good berries were healing, too.
Yep.
And then I am going to make some more good berries.
Okay, roll that spell fail.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm rolling a d20. D20 didn't do There's no part of that.
As you're administering the good berries, Ariella is wiping the blood off her axe. And she's giving a very stern look to Mahogany and Ciclon. And she says, "Are you ready to rethink what I said about recklessness?" Had we done things my way on my orders, none of your companions would have come within an inch of their lives.
What was your way?
She looks at Ciclon. Says, first of all, not running in and getting surrounded. Then she looks at Serenity, laying on the ground, choking down a goodberry, barely coming back from the fog of unconsciousness. And second of all, not opening an unsecured door. And then, very disgustedly, she scoffs out of the room, shouldering past Kelian. Banyan, at this point, is going forward, retrieving the arrows that he fired out of the Snake Man. And he says, "So, who's our new friend?"
He's our secret weapon.
Before we go any further, because Maddox is away as a man of the world, I'm going to give him a 2% chance that he knows who Kelian is. Nope, he does not.
Wow. I'm honored you'd make that roll.
How many more HP do you need, Serenity?
Huh? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
6 more healing. How many more do you need?
I need 43 hit points.
Alright, so I'll roll 2 more for you.
As she goes storming past Kelian will say, "Well, we weren't totally reckless. After all, I laid in waiting." He says a little cheekily.
And Maddox replies, the barrier standing next to you. "Had you been there from the beginning, your friends may not have suffered such injury."
40 more HP, Serenity.
How much?
40.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like I said.
Riot will point out to Maddox that we're not the only people, the only ones keeping people in reserve.
Maddox nods. He says, "But that's a question of effectiveness. The young boy is not trained in combat, and the wizard's spells continue to fail her in this place. And the Pie Slayer,"
and Riot nods says, "Yeah, but I wasn't talking about them."
At that, he looks in the room. And he's already cramped against this wall, being a barrier.
Yeah.
Says,
Brick-a-brackin'.
it would have been better to lure them out of the room, draw them out and fight them in the open. That's what Ariella would say, in any case. He leaves the room.
Barely got any of that.
You barely got
Thanks,
any of that?
Mahogany.
Yeah.
Maddox points out that there wasn't a lot of room to fight in here, and putting up a good front line was not possible. As you well learned from those of you who fought.
All right. And Riot says, "All right, Ariella, what's your suggestion for what we do next?"
And she says, "Retreat upstairs, regroup."
I could use a rest.
Do you think these silvers are enchanted too? Serenity will pick up one of the ingots.
Picking it up, it's extremely heavy. Just the one ingot. You probably would not be able to carry more than a couple of these.
Here, drop it in the bag.
Yeah, here, bring the bag over here.
I'm bringing the bag over.
Riot says, "I'm hearing one vote for arrest."
Does the ingot go into the bag?
It does.
How many of these things are there?
Thousands.
Wait, before we do that, I want to try them out of the room.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Mahogany picks one up, and you take it out of the room with no issue.
All right, yeah,
We're
that's
still-
fine.
We're still so insistent on taking things from Mount
Yeah,
Celeste.
yeah. What is up with that? Why are you doing this?
You do get the stank eye a little bit from Ariella as you come marching out with the tower's treasure in your arms. But she doesn't say
Well,
anything
we're
to
not
you.
stealing. We're reclaiming it from evil Sikh men.
You say that to her?
No, I'm saying that to Elsa Clone.
Dude, Elsie Clone's standing here, so Ariella can hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she can hear me, but I'm still Elsa Clone.
As she says, the treasures of this place do not belong to the Yanti. Nor do they belong to you. And then she turns her back to you and goes to her
Well,
companions.
who do they belong to then?
All right, Serenity. We'll leave it at 1 silver bar. That's
Serenity
a fair
nods.
price.
So you
She's just going to whisper to Mahogany on the way out. Silver is valued based on weight.
Yes, isn't every?
is it everything?
I'll say,
I mean,
let's out a long world weary sigh.
Riot continues trying to pull the rest of the party for what their opinion is on resting.
I mean, Serenity actually is completely peeled up at this point, but she wouldn't mind a rest.
2 votes for
I
rest.
can rest. I could rest. I mean, it's fine.
3 votes for rest. It's carried.
Okay. Ariella asks if there's any among your number who do not need to take the rest, who can stand guard on the first floor stairs.
I can, my dear. Kelian lets out a Cheshire grin.
And she gives you a very suspicious look. But she sees that your companions do not seem to be acting any differently towards you than any of the other of their number. So she nods once. She looks at Banyan. Banyan says, yeah, I'm good. So Banyan, Ariella, and Kelian will take up guardianship here.
I'm an Aasimar on Mount Celestial. How bad can I really be?
And Maddox leads the rest of everybody into the tree room here for a rest. How long are you looking to rest? A 1 hour short rest or an 8 hour long rest?
I could do either.
I can do
Short-
either.
short
I've
rest
used up
doesn't do
spell
me any
slots,
good.
But a short rest will get me my animal form back. So
Yeah.
either one is fine.
Ariella
Short rest,
cautions.
the only thing I need is my max HP, so that's a long rest.
Ariella cautions a long rest. She explains at the time they've been in the tower that the Yanti do not seem to be patrolling outside of areas that they've secured. So there's not any real time pressure. So she cautions,
All right, let's
looking at the
just
wounds
go
everybody's sustained. So take the long rests. and make
In
a
that
quick
case, if
roll.
we're taking a long rest and we don't think that we're going to have to worry about patrolling, I'm going to spend my good berry before we sleep. Then I have some for tomorrow.
Okay.
You guys can. I'm also going to sing the Song of Rest, so let me roll a d8, I believe.
What type of saving throw is it?
It's a Constitution saving throw. The DC, I do believe, is 11.
I just made it 28.
28. So yeah, you made it. So you can regain a D6 plus your Constitution mod of your max HP.
Does anyone in the other party want to hold on to some in case people go down?
Nice.
And our companions here?
Does anybody
Oh,
else want
everyone
to hold
gets
good
6.
berries?
Yeah,
the
I'll
species
hold
I'm talking about.
NPCs.
Okay. If you spend hit dice during this long rest, you'll also get a +6 that Nick just rolled.
Because
down
I'm
to-
handing out two to the entire party. Party is handled with 2 each. I'm asking if any of them want some.
Oh, any of their party. Osos wants them because he thinks they're delicious.
You can have one.
I'm
So-
down to 5 maximum HP damage.
Guarding the stairs here during the time, Ariella does begin grilling you, Kelian, about who you are, why you held yourself back in hiding, etc. So the question is, do you hold anything back from her? This is Riot, isn't it? This isn't Kelian.
Yeah, that was right. That's yeah.
Fixed it.
No. Kelian will explain the situation as it developed about how you didn't see him on the initial patrol and grilling the rest of the party members, and it just seemed advantageous to stay behind. Because we didn't know who you were, what side you were on, what was going on in this tower, etc.
She asks if you think it would have been more advantageous for you to be downstairs to put more crossbow bolts into the villains sooner.
No, I don't.
You get the sense over the night, speaking with these two people, Banyan seems to understand the wisdom of it. Him being an archer himself. Has respect for your ability, your aiming. The ability to just jump into that room and very quickly put a crossbow into that thing's heart. Ariella, in her stout, grumpy way, she doesn't agree at all with your actions. But neither does she chastise you for them very deeply.
Kelian will flirt with her a little bit every now and then.
And your charms have
Just
no effect on this woman.
No effect.
Slight disgust, maybe. I mean, for one, you're not a dwarf, so she thinks you're ugly as hell. I mean, I don't even think Kelian has a beard. Psh. At the end of the rest,
No.
Osos
Air.
wakes up and asks for helpers to come upstairs and cook an elaborate breakfast.
Oh, I'll help.
I'll help.
Okay? So breakfast is delicious, made out of the
No, not
well-stocked...
the parts that Mahogany works on.
They actually are. And Mahogany, you're very surprised at that. Even though you do your best to make the least edible food imaginable. But somehow working in this kitchen, in this tower, it becomes impossible to make bad quality food.
This is the greatest kitchen ever.
So they come down with a stack of omelets for everybody.
I have
Nice.
created the omelet's perfect form.
Are they omelets plus one?
+1 omelets. So how does the exploration of this basement level continue once everybody is rested up?
Well, now that we've eaten the omelets, we need to go into the Tomb of Horrors. Or the Elemental Temple.
Riot makes a show of calling for another vote.
What do you want to vote on, Riot?
Which direction? I mean, do we want to go northwest, east, southwest, or southeast?
Well,
What
let's
if we
see.
all get the same vote?
It doesn't really matter. We'll get through all the doors eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so let's just.
Yeah,
pick
but
it.
we've got to make a decision, and we've got to make it as a party.
No, you just go to
No, we
whichever
don't.
door makes the most
Yeah.
sense. It's this one.
There's no one hostile. There can't possibly be anyone hostile
Serenity,
here because they would have come out
exactly
already.
right. It is definitely that door.
I'm hearing two for this door. Any dissenters?
Serenity
Ariella
gone towards the
says...
door.
Ariella says that she votes down, where the evil still lays.
Do you really want to leave enemies behind us?
That's not very good text.
She says if there was any enemies in these doors, they would have ambushed us in the night when we numbered 3 at the base of the stairs.
I
Unless
think
they're
they
more
didn't seem very
patient than
smart
our
because
kind.
those two snakes would have made those two snake men would have made that first fight monstrous if they'd come out of their little room.
Yeah, I'll point out that you've waited 8 hours. You may as well wait 10 more minutes while we sweep the floor.
She says, very well. And she calls her companions to the stairs
you-
with her.
If you want to open the door and lead things out so we have more to fight, it's like a good idea.
So, Serenity, you're opening this door up here?
Yeah. If she doesn't want to do that after yelling at Serenity to do it,
Right,
Serenity will open
quickly.
it.
Right, quickly also votes for this door before Serenity opens it.
Democracy is a sham. I love it.
So, this is where everybody's standing. Serenity, Mahogany, and Riot. Yes?
This honestly seems like a really good situation here.
Bear with me just one moment.
I guess we should do held actions for sneak.
You can't do a held action unless you're on initiative order.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can't do like kick open doors? Got it.
You can, it's not called a held action. The way I would run it is if you say I'm going to take up a held action out the door, what I hear is I'm readying myself to attack if there's enemies on the other side of the door, which would surprise them.
Surprise her.
Provided they're not,
also readying themselves to that.
all my extra
So wait,
D6s...
they're readying for an Earth Genasi on the other door?
All my D6s and my spare dice box here have pips on them. And rolling a dice with pips during D&D, I consider it a moral failing. All right. Mahogany and Riot make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, okay.
$15.
15. How'd you do, Riot?
I'm gonna reroll this one for leaf points.
Okay.
Because I got a 2. Okay, well that's not way better. Okay.
Both of you succeed?
Man, I'm really... Oh, I failed.
Failed.
Whoa,
Serenity and Riot. 21 fire damage.
Right.
Oh.
Mahogany, you take half that. As Serenity opens this door, water comes rushing out of the doorway, and it's scalding hot. Serenity, your whole body, you're inundated with the water. You have no time or any way to jump out of the way. Mahogany dives back towards the pillar next to where Ciclon is standing. Riot, you make an attempt, but you land face first on the ground, and the scalding water overtakes you. This whole area here becomes flooded with it. So Kelian and Ciclon, you feel the water lap up against your boots and your legs, and it's very, very hot indeed. Looking into the room, once it's empty of water, you see the piping that continues from the corner rooms above, but in here it's giving off a blazing white-hot heat.
Is the piping damaged in any way? Is it flooding?
It's just glowing white-hot.
Was this a cooling system?
In addition,
Water?
there is an opening at the ceiling level of this room, right about here, which would open right at sea level above, and seawater continues to pour into this room from that hole.
Okay, I'm gonna move in and pull the door shut.
And pull the door shut.
No,
and
don't let it build up again.
Serenity standing next to you, pink from being burned head to toe by scalding water.
It must be some sort of cooling system for the pipes.
Yeah, I'm gonna close the door back up.
Alright, let me heal us before we go any further.
That was fun for me. Even though I had to roll a die with pips on it.
Alright, so, how much damage did you take, alright?
21. I'm down to 7.
Alright, you can heal up 16. Serenity, you can heal 16. I'll heal up 8.
Alright.
Okay, so what's next?
That was not pleasant.
I'm gonna test this door.
Wait, no! Riot tries to stop her.
Serenity, is the door
I was
opening?
about to open it. Moving to it.
Just
I
moving
was
to it.
just testing the door. Is it locked?
It's not.
All right.
Serenity's gonna stop you and put her hand against the door and see if it's warm.
No. I mean, it is warm because it's engulfed in the blue fire of the tower, but it's not scalding hot.
What's the knob made of?
Some form of metal.
Does it have a knob or a ring or?
Yeah, it has a metal handle that would click the door open.
Does it go through the door? Like the metal basically goes just on one side.
You would assume there's a similar looking handle on the other side.
Okay, so it would conduct heat through it, and it doesn't feel unnaturally hot.
It does feel unnaturally warm, but every surface in this tower feels unnaturally warm.
Right, warm, not hot. That's the key phrase. Serenity will nod, motion for everyone else to stand back.
Okay, I'm fine. You just want to take everything on yourself? I mean, come on.
And she'll open the door.
get yourself killed. I don't want to see that happen.
That doesn't sound like a very heroic thing to say. Looking into this room, the room itself is empty, no furniture, but there are frescoes along all three of the back walls that look to depict a story when taken together. But it would take some time to go in and decipher it.
Serenity will motion that look clear and move into the room.
As soon as you step in the room, a wave of emotion hits you. And it's a very powerful emotion of redemption, of having done something unfathomably evil and then redeeming yourself afterwards. How long do you examine the frescoes in the room for?
Is there anything else in the room once I'm inside?
No, just the detailed frescoes along the three walls.
Just for, a few
A few seconds?
Yeah.
And what you're seeing are various scenes of a winged devil with a black hide and a large black sword. And you see, just scanning for the few seconds, it seems like it's walking through various scenes on Mount Celestia. But this thing certainly does not belong on the mountain.
And I don't feel compelled to act anyway because of those emotions. It's just something I sense.
It's just something you sense for a moment after walking into the room.
There's some sort of magic there, but it didn't seem to really get mined too bad. Makes you feel like you just did something really bad and then get up for it. Nothing else in the room, really.
Right, nods. Alright, on to the next.
Serenity will shrug and move towards the door unless someone else is really interested in it.
Right's gonna close this door.
Okay. And same reaction from this door, Serenity.
Warm but not hot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Is everyone in position?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and open the door.
Similar looking room. Empty except for the frescoes along the back walls.
Take a step in.
And you both get that same feeling of the strong feeling of having done something unfathomably evil, but then redeeming yourself. And the frescoes of this wall, taking a few seconds to scan them, show a beautiful woman in robes standing amidst diseased fields of some kind.
Does it look like there's any continuity between the two sets of frescoes?
It does, but
that I'm recognizing?
There's so much detail that it would take you more than a couple seconds to look and get the full story.
Okay. Serenity doesn't really have much interest in them beyond that.
Riot's gonna stay here and while looking at him.
Okay. Serenity. Throw open this next door recklessly without any caution whatsoever?
No, I'm waiting for everyone to be in position, so if Riot wants to look over the frescoes, I'll give her a few minutes.
Okay.
I just realized we lost Nodal.
Poke my head in.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Riot. The frescoes in this room, it takes you about 10 minutes, start to finish, to study the stories. It's depicting the story of Lady Janu, called the Sorceress of Blight, who is the priest of a god of agriculture on a prime material world that was stricken with blight, that threatened to kill all of her people. She spent her entire mortal life fighting off this blight, making sure that her people had food. And when she reached old age, when she saw that her work was imperiled by the end of her mortal existence, she began seeking arcane rituals to prolong her life, turning herself into a lich to do so. However, upon doing that, her deity disowned her. And furious at the betrayal of her deity and the loss of all of her priestly abilities, Janu turned herself over to the blight. She became its focus, its lens in her world. As she killed people by the hundreds of thousands, advancing the blight that she'd spent her entire life holding at bay. And eventually, after she spread this blight to many other prime material worlds, the source of it imbued her with the energy as a reward to travel to its heart in one of the dark layers of the abyss. And the consciousness controlling this blight sought to reward her for her service. But when she arrived in the abyss, she had a moment of clarity, and instead used the arcane energy she'd built up over years of being a lich to open a portal to the plane of fire, burning the source of the blight, and herself in the process. And thus the pestilence at the end was finally stopped, and Janu found the peace of oblivion.
Very interesting.
Was that the start of the story, you think?
That was
She died. Sounds like the end of it.
Yeah, that was
No,
the
I'm
full
asking,
story.
I'm asking Riot. So we don't expect to see more here. You know, Ciclon, if you want to open it, you can. I'm just a little bit worried that... I mean, I don't know if those snake things had grabbed you, sure you'd still be in one piece, no offense.
I'll just shake my head, then reach for the door.
Ciclon opens this one.
Yeah.
Did you check the heat first?
He did not, but it's okay. There was no
Doesn't sound
skull.
like he checked anything.
You had checked it previously, though. Looking into this room, you're seeing scenes of Sigil. You see what you recognize as the large stone podium out in the front of the Great Court in Sigil. And you see pictures of mass murder in the streets. And one you recognize immediately as the Lady of Pain. But it would take you longer than that to get the full story.
This has piqued Kelian's interest.
I'll glance at Riot and say, hey, or Mahogany, and say, it looks like something your friends might be interested in, and point to the fiction of the Lady of Pain.
Kelian and Ciclon, again, stepping in this room, that emotion of redemption washes over you.
Yeah, I'm curious about that since
Sure.
I'm interested.
Serenity doesn't want to be the only one outside of the room. When whatever it is, sex.
Okay, what's Riot doing down there? I see her wandering around.
Right,
She's gonna
we all
try.
voted to go into this room.
You're going to check that door down there, Riot?
I'm just gonna check it, not open it.
And it doesn't seem dangerous. It's not going to scald you or anything like that.
Okay.
So what's going on in this room?
Reading the frescoes of the room, it actually depicts the life story of someone that you all know very well, having lived much of your lives in Sigils. It's the tale of Vincente Godsgrave, who was factal of the Fraternity of Order over 1,000 years ago. And for lack of a better comparison, factal Godsgrave was Hitler. During his tenure, Godsgrave embodied all of the most evil aspects of law, and he twisted all of his mandates and interpreted all of his rules in a manner that caused great turmoil to Sigil. And this was before the Lady of Pain put forth her 15-faction decree. And Godsgrave, during his tenure, personally saw to the eradication of at least 9 chaotic factions within Sigil, at a time where there were hundreds of factions in Sigil. It also predates the founding of the Harmonium, and at the time, the law in Sigil was enforced by a sub-faction within the governors called the Stalwarts of Law, and they did, at his order, exactly what you would expect. They rounded up as many chaotics in Sigil as they could. Tanari, Slod, Elves, and Rogue Modrons, and in an act of genocide, he seized the portal to the plane of fire in the mortuary and marched them through it. Unsurprisingly, he was mazed. The Lady of Pain saw to it, and Godsgrave blinked out, and the governor spent hundreds of years trying to regain any sense of honor they had in the town. But then, over 100 years later, a man fitting Godsgrave's description, although much more decrepit and with a beard that hadn't been shaved since time immemorial, appeared before the city court, begging to confess his crimes, and for 7 days and nights he named every individual who he had slain during the time. And at the end of that time, a wave of peace and law radiated out from him as he crumbled to dust there on the stairs of the court. And all of the crowds that had gathered felt this peace and law that radiated out from him. And after that point, Sigil knew a time of peace and order that had been unprecedented since.
Kelian hates this room. Doesn't like it. Gets out of there.
Might be interesting in following up with some research when we get back to the city, possibly.
I heard
While all
somebody
that's going
furiously
on, Riot
typing
does-
notes. What's Riot do?
That's
Yeah.
me.
Opens
While
this
all
room?
that's going on, Riot does open door, yeah.
Ah, that's what I like to hear. This room has a large, kind of floating above a circle, an arcane runic circle in the center of the room, a large multifaceted crystal, each facet giving off a different shade of light.
Oh, I bet we get our jobs from this one.
37 days till 4-job fiesta.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
He's
get
just
the
going to leave
Sundancer.
It's gonna
that one
leave it.
alone and test this door as well.
Seems safe.
Seems like
Open
the
it up.
4-job fiesta comes earlier every year.
And this one... The room itself is empty, but the walls depict... They're painted behind the veil of blue fire like a beautiful skyscape. Clear blue skies with very few clouds, and a huge illuminated sun in the southwest corner that you're facing. Along the eastern wall of the room, the opposite wall that you're at, is a huge pearl archway set a few inches out from the wall. I'm sorry, a few feet out from the wall. With celestial runes running across the entire archway.
Do I recognize what language the runes might be?
I will let you make a intelligence plus arcana check at disadvantage. Because I'm assuming Riot is not up on the various powers of Mount Celestia.
Probably not. But let's go ahead and try this. Yeah, no.
I mean, you recognize it on site as a deactivated portal, but who constructed the portal or where it might lead, you have no idea. What's Ciclon doing down here?
I was actually just going to check to see if it's hot, similar to the way
And then,
the other
yeah.
one was.
And then Riot waits for the rest of the people to come out.
Okay. It does not seem hot, no.
I'll for a second, then I'll crack it open, take a look inside.
Cracking it open, and the room is a garden, and the room is also entirely submerged, but something is preventing the water from pouring out of the open doorway. Looking into the room, looking through the water in the room, you see actually two openings in the side of the tower that just let the seawater flood in and intermingle in the room. The room itself is a
Alright, so
garden filled with exotic aquatic plants, kelps, corals. You see many, many different colors of sea flowers and quillweeds in here.
Hey, Mahogany, stand back for a second.
All right.
I'm gonna look at this plant. It looks like basically just like a sheet of water, just sitting stagnant in front of the door,
Yes.
like on the inside of the door. I'll reach out and touch it.
And you put your hand into the water, and it feels like the cool seawater from outside. Very refreshing.
You know I'm the one who can magically move water, right?
Oh,
Like, that's my thing.
It looks like it's the same from the ocean. So if you have any power over it,
Let's steer clear well away from there.
I'll close the door and then move
No,
on.
open it back up. We can be right into 2 new spears. I'll take Serenity spears that have by now become dry, and I'll freeze them up again.
How do you do this?
It's one of the powers of shape water. You can just have 2 effects of making water frozen. I'm basically just dipping the tip in and then freezing the water around the spear.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
That was fascinating.
What's next?
If by fascinating you mean nerve-wracking, then yeah.
I just realized I forgot to apply acid damage to you earlier, Riot. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You forgive me?
Oh, yeah, and previously, hey, connection dropped. I was going to say, what we should do is go into that room where all the water is filling up in the entire room, and it's boiling ocean water, drill a hole in the floor, and then just leave.
Ciclon, this door seems safe.
I'll go and open it up.
And it is a room. Give me 1/2 a second.
All right,
Kelian's going to avoid going into rooms for the time being.
I'll follow him in there.
Looking in this room, impossible to tell what it was originally used for. Oh, it's actually bigger than I'm letting on here. But it looks like the Yuan-Ti have occupied this room as an officer's quarters. Right now it's empty. I mean, you've killed the 2 snake arms on the floor that had been using it. But yeah, there's nothing of note in the room at this point.
Okay.
Alright, then. Guess we still got these 2 rooms then.
Yeah, but look, these 2 are water. I don't expect anything else from the other 2 corners.
Ciclon, this door seems safe.
The one in the northeast will probably have more pipes, so we should be careful with that one. Because they run the whole way up the tower from what we've seen.
Oh, I'll open the door then.
Open it up, and you're looking into another submerged garden. Although when you look into this one, you see one of the Zoveri, one of the horrible, lawful good octopus people, is tending the plants. And when the door opens, his head snaps in your direction, and he beckons as though to welcome you into the room.
My eyes go wide, and then I'll say, hello? In common.
Yes, I'm going to head over there and see what we can do.
And he speaks to you, but you can't hear what he's saying through the sheet of water.
I'll head in.
I'll look at Mahogany and say, you're the water expert, as you so cleanly stated earlier.
So you enter the room, and I mean, it feels identical to the seawater that you were dumped in previously. And as you enter the room, the Zoveri swims over to you, plucking various plants and flowers from the garden into his hand. And as he closes in, he holds them out, offers them to you.
I'll take them. Thank you.
Okay. And at that,
I can breathe underwater. Can I speak underwater?
Be right back.
That's an excellent question. I will say yes if you're really close to the person you're speaking to.
Yeah. And
Water
say thank
conducts
you.
sound better. Sorry.
So you say what to him?
I'll just say thank you. What are these?
And he tells you these are, and he's speaking in very heavily accented common, accented with whatever language is spoken in the oceans of Mount Celestia. And he tells you that they're very potent medicines, and he's offering them to you as a gift of kindness from the Zoveri race. But he cautions you not to pluck the gardens overmuch, for many of the plants here, once used, will never be able to be replaced.
Oh, well, thank you very much. We'll let you tend to the gardens then. We're dealing with some snake men that were in the tower. There's another guard in the corner of the tower. Do you want us to bring her there?
He tells you that he and his the rest of the Zoveri that tend the gardens are aware of both the snake men who have infiltrated the tower and the team led by the dwarf woman, who they plucked out of the ocean and delivered to the tower. But they don't have the resources to do anything about the invasion on their own. He says if you're able to cleanse the Tower of Evil, it would be a great boon to the people of the Celestial Oceans.
Alright, well, I'm glad to help you out with this, and thanks for the plans.
Over a long rest, I will allow somebody to make a nature check or an herbalist's kit. Herbalist kit would give you advantage.
I've got an herbalist kit.
Okay, so you can make the checks at advantage, and with a successful skill check, you can make a greater healing potion. I'm sorry, 2 greater healing potions out of the materials he gave you.
Alright, great. And I'll thank him again. And it's just so it's easier for me to talk to people later, because it seems like they speak accent common. Would speaking in Aquan help them out?
No,
'Cause I do speak Primordial.
they speak they
Alright.
speak Zovari.
Okay.
Sounds like you made a friend in there.
Yeah, they were very helpful.
Could you
Apparently,
ask
we're
him
doing
what
them,
the,
what's that?
Could you ask him what the pipes are for?
I assume just bringing heat, but I'll go ask if you want. And I'll pop in there and I'll ask him.
And when you return to the room, he's already swam out the window.
Oh man, you can swim out the window?
Oh yeah, they're large enough to fit through.
Oh, I'm checking that out later. This place is like an undersea castle. This place is great.
And I mean, even in this submerged room, you still see the fire against the back wall. The whole place is still lit up. El Ciclon, this door, when you test it, scalding hot.
Ooh. Shake my hand and then say, nope, we're not doing this door.
So Riot reports to Ariel and says, "All right, we've stopped the place. Everything looks clean. Don't know if you know, but there's some kind of portal down the south wall."
And she kind of shakes her head, and she says, "Since we arrived in your city of doors, it seems like there's portals every damn place." To which Maddox snickers in response.
I know, isn't it exciting?
I'm
Just to
curious.
antagonize her a little bit.
I'm gonna go check out that portal. Do I recognize the rooms?
I will let
speak
you.
Draconic.
It's not Draconic runes, but I will let you make the same check. An Arcana check at disadvantage.
Can I make it regular since I got that info from the priest?
No, you would not be able to make this
Okay.
regular.
Just checking. Unfortunate.
No. And again, you recognize it as a deactivated portal, but where it leads or who designed it, you have no way of knowing.
Oh well, we'll find out later.
But Riot says,
Should I try?
We're ready to go when you are.
Should I try portal sense on it? Should I see if I can sense where it goes?
I mean, you think it would be helpful, and it might.
Yeah, let me go just see if I can feel anything through it.
Okay. Go ahead and make that wisdom check.
4. Where's a D4? There's a D4. $19.
If the portal were active, it would lead somewhere else on Mount Celestia. It does not leave the plane.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll
I'll
share
say
that.
I heard news about that. There's this plane is supposed to have a portal in it, in the Temple of Bahamut. That be this place? That'll bring us to the third plane of Celestia.
I don't know.
Seems
I
like
don't think...
not
it
quite
doesn't
enough
seem
dragons,
like
I would
Bahamut.
expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the inscription around the pearly archway is not draconic.
Yeah,
I
I think
that would
we
be give the game away.
we know it already because Maddox has agreed to take us to, or at least said he can't take us to the Temple of Bahamut yet because he's busy with the Thula party. Implying
Right, I completely
that this
forgot
is
about
not
that.
this is not the Temple of Bahamut.
Thank you, Nick.
Okay. So you guys are ready to head down to the next floor below?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Before-
this floor should be entirely submerged, so be careful. And she'll particularly look at Kelian and when she says that.
What? How are we supposed to...
I mean, it seems like the tower keeps her out. I'm just saying, any openings obviously would be a lot more dangerous even than the ones on this level.
Oh, so when you say submerged, you don't mean the entire floor.
I just mean if there's another door like the one we came through, it's almost going to just flow. The entire area is flooded because it'll be much lower below the seafloor.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Good plan.
I can destroy 20 gallons of water if it'd be a problem.
Every 6 seconds.
Well, we'll see.
There's a fluid every D&D session eventually comes up to this fluid dynamics problem. Everyone knows that, right?
So I'm going to give a quick description of this floor here. I'll make sure there's no monsters in here. I don't believe there are, but I wrote these notes like 4 weeks ago, so...
How about this? I can change it to a lovely pink.
I like it.
So you see the 4 pillars in this floor. The floor itself is uninhabited. No snake peoples down here. And they look to have been carved in particular ways, but you can't tell what they are anymore because they've all been defaced, presumably by the Yuan-Ti. And you see doors around the room. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break here. Everybody can refill their drink, grab some Snaglins, if you're so inclined. And we will reconvene at 5 o'clock. How's that sound?
All right.
That sounds like a time of the day.
All right, see you guys in 10 minutes.